Yes.
Do you have session in this room?
Yes, session is there.
On which time?
9:45 to 10:45. 8:30 one is not there. There is nothing.
No one is there, sir.
इसमें दिखा रहा है?
Yeah, it's you are live.
Is this live?
Yes.
Tell me. I'm simply talking. Proceed. What they are saying to be decided. Topic. Is it of you? Then close it. लगाओ कब लगाओ नहीं ये इन लोगों का इशू है तो सेम टॉपिक पर 50 लोगों का राइट होगा
बहुत ज़्यादा दो-तीन मूवीज ऑन्टरप्रेन्योरशिप पे ही देखा ही है
नहीं टॉपिक्स तीन ज़्यादा
आई भी जाएगा
नहीं आई भी मेरा क्लाइंट है आई एम बिजनेस कंसल्टेंट तो मेरे क्लाइंट्स आर लार्ज मल्टीनेशनल्स माय ओन कंपनी
Okay, you are the
I'm what you do, uncle?
web developer.
You're a web developer. So okay, fine. So you develop your own web.
Pardon, I'm working in some company and doing some far outside.
You want to develop it a big thing?
Yes, yes.
Okay, then for free online business mentoring, you can contact me on the website.
Okay.
It is online means you have to write. Okay, this is the problem I'm facing. Okay.
This is problem. What I feel very good problem I'm facing, especially I'm facing the
नहीं अभी अब मेरे को मत बोलिए. You write a problem statement. Yeah, I started like this. I did these things, and today I am stuck because of on these things. Then I will ask questions. Then we will work out this thing. So I do this a lot of places. There is a Nigerian client. There is a client in Jordan. There is a client like that. Only. You see, if I have to talk to you, I will spend almost hours explaining the thing which I can type out in half an hour. You understand?
Yes.
Thanks a lot, uncle. Thanks.
Can we put question on your website?
You can put question on the website. You can put, there is email ID. You can put the email.
Okay.
There.
Okay.
Okay. But you see, don't put questions just like that. You have to define the complete business
Okay.
and
what is the where I'm starting, what I'm doing, and what is the problem I'm facing.
Yeah, because see,
everything clear.
then I have to clarify certain things. When I clarify,
Okay, until you don't know my background, how can you solve something like this?
no background nahi hai. See, I need 2-3 things. First of all, do you have an idea which is actually different than others? Web developers, how many you want? If you just call yourself web developer, how many are there?
Lots of.
Lot is a very small word. In the place I stay is a you're from Delhi?
No, from UP, but working in Delhi.
Okay, Delhi में DDA flats हैं. अब DDA flats में we are living in one society. उसमें ही I can tell you in 1,000 flats more than 100 web developers are there. Okay, Delhi में there will be in thousands, अगर लाख में नहीं है thousands में है. Okay, तो आपको देखने का आपका idea whatever you are doing is it different? How different it is? Then how you are marketing? Marketing channel, marketing strategy. अगर आइडिया ठीक है, आइडिया ठीक नहीं है तो जब तक आइडिया ठीक नहीं होगा तब तक आप क्या सोचते हैं? हर आदमी सोचता है मेरा आइडिया बहुत बढ़िया. ओके, अच्छा, मैंने हम लोग के नीचे सारा वो मार्केट में कन्वर्ट हो गया. मैंने पिछले 5 साल में 100 से ज्यादा फूड खाने वाला चीज खोलते हुए देखा है और मार्केट में देखा है. परसों मेरे पास किसी का फोन आया, वो लोग जानते थे तो पहले उन्होंने फोन किया कि मैंने ऋषिकेश में रिजॉर्ट बनाया है. रिजॉर्ट बनाने में कितना पैसा लगता होगा? कितना पैसा लगता है? एक अंदाज से है, हजारों में, 100 में, करोड़ों में. सर ये रिजॉर्ट अगर है तो उसमें स्विमिंग पूल है और वो सब है तो उसमें करोड़ों में खर्चा है. तो मुझे पूछ रहे कि कितना इसका भाड़ा? आपने करोड़ों में खर्चा कर दिया बिना कैलकुलेट किए हुए. अब समझ रहे हैं? मैं तो पहले अगर आप पैसा खर्च करने के लिए बोले कि मैं रिजॉर्ट बना रहा हूँ, उससे पूछूंगा भैया क्यों बना रहे हो? मार्केटिंग कहाँ से करोगे? जब तक मेरे को कस्टमर का आइडिया नहीं है कि आप पैसा कहाँ से लाओगे, मैं आपको कह नहीं सकता पैसे स्पेंड करो. Are you with me? ओके, पैसा खर्चा तो कोई भी कर सकता है, पैसा लाना नहीं. एक तो है वापस लाना जो आपने दे दिया, दूसरा है वापस लाना विद इंटरेस्ट, मीनिंग आपने जो एफर्ट लगाया, टाइम लगाया, और तीसरा है कि उसको लंबे टर्म तक एक बिजनेस में. ये सारी चीजें कुछ बेसिक चीजें होती है. अगर आपने वो चीज किया नहीं है, मैं दौड़ रहा हूँ, ओके, आपने मेट्रो देखा है? मेट्रो में लोग दौड़ते हैं, कई जगह मेट्रो में दौड़ते हैं, ओके. जितने लोग दौड़ रहे हैं क्या डिफरेंस है? डिफरेंस है? डिफरेंस है. ये वो लोग हैं जो अपने आप को ऐसी जगह पोजीशन करते हैं कि वो सबसे पहले गेट पे पहुंच जाए. यस और नो? वो डिफरेंस है. जब तक आप पहले नंबर के खिलाड़ी नहीं है तब तक पैसा तो आ ही नहीं सकता. पैसा आ ही नहीं सकता. तो मेरा ये गोल, क्योंकि मेरा ये नहीं कि मैं आपको एडवाइस करूं कि आप ये कर लो, अगर नहीं होगा तो ये नहीं हो सकता. नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि आपको डेवलप करना पड़ेगा आइडिया जो कि दूसरों के पास नहीं है. हाँ, आइडिया का कोई वैल्यू नहीं. एक बात सुनिए, आप वेब डेवलपर हैं, ओके, आपने मुझे एज ए कंसल्टेंट को आइडिया दिया, क्या वेब डेवलपमेंट मेरी मसल है? नहीं, तो मेरे को क्या फायदा होगा? आइडिया देखिए, मैं आपको बताऊं, यहाँ पे ही 1 साल पहले पिछले अगस्त में एक फंक्शन होता है, एंटरप्रेन्योर एक मैगजीन आती है, मैगजीन आती है ना, उसका फंक्शन होता है. वहां पे लोग चेकबुक लेके बैठे हुए थे, इनको बोलते हैं वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट बोलते हैं, फाइनेंस करते हैं. मैंने उनका सेशन रिकॉर्ड किया. वहाँ पे लोग आ रहे थे, जैसे आप जैसे लोग, इनको फंडिंग चाहिए, अपना प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे थे. और वो लोग बैठे हुए थे और वो लोग सेकेंड्स में बोल रहे थे कि टिकट फंडिंग करेंगे नहीं करेंगे। ओके, तो उनसे मैंने पूछा, हम लोग ये देख रहे हैं कि इसने आइडिया पे काम कितना किया है। आइडिया तो गैस है, गैस बनती है, गैस उड़ जाती है। क्या आपने कुछ काम किया है गैस पे? सॉलिड कुछ बनाया है? भैया क्यों खरीदेगा आपसे कोई? मैं क्यों खरीदूं आपसे? मेरे पास ऑलरेडी वेबसाइट है। नहीं, मेरे पास ऑलरेडी वेबसाइट है। अगर आप वेबसाइट डेवलपर हैं, मैं आपकी सर्विस क्यों इस्तेमाल करूं? हम लोग ये क्यों अगर दे सकते हैं, जो लोग लगे यार ठीक है, मेरा जो एग्जिस्टिंग वेबसाइट डेवलपर है वो ये नहीं कर रहा, तो मैं आपसे बात करूंगा, बिजनेस ही दूंगा। अरे भी तो आप जॉब में जाएं, इंटरव्यू में जाएं, एवरीथिंग सेम। You too, sir. You too.
I will be there in your session to watch you.
Please come. ये डिपेंड करता है, देखिए यहाँ पे सेशन का क्या हो गया है। आपने जो बोला बहुत बढ़िया बात बोला। एंटरप्रेन्योर पे 10 देखे हुए हैं। मैं केवल सॉल्यूशन पे काम करता हूँ। अगर यहाँ पे कोई आदमी नहीं है तो क्या बोलेंगे? ओके, तो यहाँ पे सारे लोग वही हैं। जैसे यहाँ पर सारे डेवलपर स्टार्ट हो जाए तो सारे लोग ढूंढ रहे हैं बिजनेस, तो बिजनेस वाला कोई नहीं है। अगर कोई रियल टाइम बोलता है कि मेरे ये प्रॉब्लम है, ठीक है, तब सॉल्व किया नहीं तो वो लेक्चर बन जाता है। लेक्चर कोई फायदा नहीं है, तो आपको इंटरनेट वैसे ही मिल जाएगा सर, है ना? यस सर।
Okay, thank you, sir.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
just waiting for the rest of the audience.
I know. Which is very unlikely today because a lot of people have left for Agra. That's what I believe.
So let me just have
Yeah,
a...
please. Please do that. Because there are two more speakers. Please come.
Oh, you're early.
I'm early, yeah.
Fantastic.
So you're a participant or you're a speaker?
No, not at all. I'm just your admirer.
Wow, sir.
You're a
I think you are the only one in this world.
No way. I'm the second.
So what do you do, sir?
I work as a
Media?
not supposed to touch this.
Today actually there are very less people.
I know.
So, hi.
That
So, I just spoke to the organizer. They said you can maybe start your session because it's alive.
9:45 is the
No,
time.
no,
9:45.
9:45.
Yeah, it's still, there's a lot of time.
Oh, okay. I thought it's 9:30.
No, just people
Oh,
are just
okay.
they're
Perfect,
fast.
perfect. I thought it's 9:30. So
No,
why?
9:45 is okay. It doesn't matter. See, if it is less, but they're genuinely, genuine entrepreneurs or they're working.
Doesn't matter.
It
That's
is better.
how I believe.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
don't need a crowd.
You
You need maybe few people who connect with the topic.
No, this will get connected to the crowd anyway, no? Because
It's alive.
yeah, it's also stored.
Yeah.
So people keep on.
They're going to
filling
use
it.
the.
And the other two people who are speaking with them, they are also great people.
Right.
They have Lynn.
Lynn Thomas and
Yes,
Okay. What are you going to talk about today?
This is the challenges of your business, how to overcome them, not only to sustain and survive, but to grow and sustain the growth. Because see, what happens, normally the statistics says, the startups, most of the startups will fail. Most. And that is the truth. Why they fail? Because people don't follow the basics. Simple. Why big companies become big? Because they follow the basic. Why they fail? Because they stop following the basic. In last 7, 8, 10 years, you would have seen companies vanish. Big companies like Motorola. Have you heard about Motorola?
Yeah.
Please come.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So how are you this morning, Lynn?
I'm not too bad, but it's I think a full week and I'm exhausted. I
Doesn't
didn't,
matter.
I didn't
Be
wake
there.
up, and
Be there.
so I'm here. But you've got a co-speaker,
One more speaker you're supposed to get.
Yeah, he's coming.
so I don't really.
He just
I'm-
came and said, no sir, you take off 25 minutes and come back.
Please.
After what we discussed, I just do a little bit of a few words. I'm
If
not.
you feel comfortable, go ahead.
This is your session.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it's my session. It's my session.
So what do you want? You know.
Anything, absolutely anything.
Okay.
Because see, it is a niche of your own.
Yeah.
I have got my niche,
Yes.
which can never overlap.
Yeah.
So it's okay. I'm absolutely comfortable with anything you say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am, have you heard about a company called BlackBerry? People used to swear by that.
I remember.
Okay?
Yeah.
Is it there? It was a huge. You have heard about BlackBerry?
Blackberry, yeah, we still have Blackberries in UK.
Yeah, nobody uses them because now, okay,
Yeah, they've been dated.
they're obsolete.
Yeah.
So what happens? The business.
Even sometimes you just sustain, but the growth is not there. Also, there must be some sort of.
That is also there. See, then
The
comes
graph is either
the-
very slow.
the marketing tactics. See, strategy and tactics. Strategy means long term. Tactics means short term. Sometimes a newcomer comes and they do and they take away your clients. Okay. So you have to respond. It depends on your positioning. It is a simple thing, but it becomes complex because so many things you have to pay attention to. If you are not planned for, I'll be giving an example of a beautiful case which came to me about a week back. I was surprised. He's a thorough businessman, and I was surprised how can he make such a big mistake. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. People without education, sometimes they become great businessmen. You know why? Because they do not know what is not, should not be done, what should be done. They follow the basics. Sometimes they follow the gut instinct.
Yeah, very interesting.
And you will find, like, I don't know, you're from Delhi?
Yes.
Okay. There is a guy.
I'm in the business too. That's
Your
why.
business. What kind of business you're in?
I'm actually into a garment business.
Government. Wow, I mentored my government
design.
business.
Oh, okay.
They are manufacturing for Under Armour, Walmart, and Nike, they have got their own brand. In US, it is number 3 in golfware. So I worked with them for almost 2 years to take them from $200 million to $500 million. Government is something which interests me.
Well, yeah, it depends, but what kind of
It doesn't matter. You have to have a niche. It doesn't matter what you're selling. You're selling a hanky, it doesn't matter. Okay. You have to have a niche and you have to have a basic marketing strategy.
What do you mean by niche? Okay.
Your own unique identity.
My US.
Yes. And this is where people make biggest mistake. Most of the people fall in the category of Me Too.
The mass. Like they just follow what other people are doing.
Have you been to Metro anytime in Delhi Metro?
Metro, yes. Few
Okay,
times.
I'll give you an example. You'll find if you go to a place called Rajiv Chowk, the moment train stops, they start running. How many people are running?
There are
Thousands.
I've only been twice.
No, thousands.
Thousands. of
Thousands
them.
running? What is the difference between I am running, you are running, she is running? No difference. But you will find some people, they have strategically placed themselves in such a way that they are the first one to reach the gate. Are you with me? They matter. All others who are running, they are running.
That's a mob.
It's a mob. It doesn't matter at all.
सर इसमें कोई स्पीच टाइम पे है नहीं?
नहीं, ये 9:45 है. 9:45 है.
9:45 है सर?
45 से.
ठीक है.
ये थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन है लेकिन टाइम तो वही है.
नहीं हमारे चार्ट के हिसाब से इसमें स्पीच नहीं है.
नहीं.
क्योंकि लाइव का टाइम नहीं है ना इसमें.
लाइव का टाइम नहीं है. वही मेरे को किसी ने बताया लाइव चल रहा है.
इनके लिए तो वो कह रहे हैं कि मतलब 9:30 मुझे लगा, 9:45 पे वो कह रहे हैं उनको बोलो स्टार्ट कर देना, इवन कोई नहीं भी होता तो लाइव चल रहा है.
That is okay. You can always close down the live part. This is switch ऐसे बंद कर सकते हैं ना.
वही इसीलिए पूछ रहा था ना आपसे कि अगर आपका अगर लाइव अभी आपको करना है तो हम ये कर देगा.
9:45 पे कर दीजिए.
I will begin at 9:45, and probably if you are kind enough, then if you can come up with some challenge that you face, you are the one who is the main stakeholder.
ठीक है 9:45 ऑन करता हूँ.
Actually, my daughter
ठीक है ना?
is with me too now. She did join.
How old is she?
She's 27.
So has she have background of NIFT or something?
Yeah, she studied in London.
She's in the okay.
So she has
NIFT
a formal education background, which I don't have in terms of fashion. I mean, I was like doing my masters in another subject, and then somehow it just did not interest me. And then I was like a domesticated woman, like any other woman, Indian woman, sitting at home. And then I started my business from a very small scale.
Okay.
So it has reached to a level over the time. But maybe I'm lacking something.
What is the size of business you have got?
Well, it's like, there are like so many like fluctuation in the business. I mean,
It is going through a tough time.
Yeah, very, very tough. Purely because I think I was lacking team, and I started my business from 30,000 rupees. Like I'm talking about 15 years ago.
So that is quite a lot.
From my house, and but then I had again, like you said that you follow your instinct, your gut. So none of my family woman has ever come into a business, because I born and brought up in a very small town, came to Delhi, and even my father was never a businessman. He was a landlord, and then he was like a lawyer background. So I was the first woman in my house who started a business from home. From a 30, I borrowed my money from my husband. I said I just need some money, but I positioned myself in such a way in that 20 days that I'm going to hold one exhibition in my house. Because I was very fond of wearing good clothes.
Yeah.
So I used to struggle to find the kind of clothes I used to wear.
Yes.
So, I was living in South Hicks, and I used to go to Karol Bagh and here and there, and everything used to be so jazzy and blingy. And I wanted to wear something very simple and chic and classy. I never used to find it. So first exhibition I held it at my own house was, I just made 50-60 pieces. But then the thing Now I had being a domesticated woman, I still had a strategy in my mind because someone just mentioned in my kitty party, I would say, that in April, so many people start having their exhibition from these days because the summer comes. So I placed myself that, okay, I'm going to start it from these are the dates. So I did accept that challenge, and within those small period of time, I started a business. So business, in 1 year, I touched almost 1 CR, which was a very, very good in those days. I'm talking about 2001. And
1 CR was.
1 CR was a very huge, because I are getting proposals from different.
1 CR will be 10 million.
Excuse me, ma'am. So this is a warm-up exercise, right? Your discussions and all that is just a warm-up.
Kind of, if nobody joins, so it's a win.
Because we want the whole thing to be captured again.
Oh,
So ask the same questions
okay.
again.
Yeah, no,
Sure.
So that we don't miss out.
No,
Right.
So 1 CR.
And then, but I was very firm, a guy.
So what do you make? Is it
Right now my model is like very different.
Neeraj
The
guy.
way I started and then where I reached and then where I come back. In the last 15 years, it has gone like several directions. Right now, currently, I have a retail. It's in Shapurjat, and I call myself a designer now. So we are basically making an occasion wear. We are targeting the bridals, and then we have a very beautiful store which is in Shapurjat, which is like probably one of the biggest store in the entire area.
Shapurjat is a place you can afford to have a large area.
No,
It is near the scale down, no?
Yeah, but it has become really very expensive in the last few years. It wasn't. But now they have their rates.
It's somewhere behind the city fort, no?
Yeah. So we have created a very luxurious store for people because we cater the families now.
You have a portal, online presence.
Well, yes, we have online. I wouldn't say we are selling online directly us, but then we have
Presence.
business. Yes,
Presence.
presence is there. Yeah. We have our basic website is there.
So and how much you would say if it is not a confidential thing, would be your own turnover or revenue as of last year?
That's what I just want to. My first dialogue with you was
Right.
that
Good photographer.
I'm sustaining.
You make the
Right.
best of me.
But the growth chart, if I look at my growth chart, it really went up. And then, I touched, being not having any formal degree. I worked with so many countries, and my turnover went up to 6 to 7 CR eventually.
That was a peak in which year?
Peak. That was then I shut down that thing because of the labor issues, because I had about 200 people working within the factory.
Where did you have the factory?
It was in Secretariat.
No, 1 CR, this is called CRORE, crore.
Yeah.
Crore means 10 million. Okay.
And how much is that?
Divide by 80. Take sterling pound, you take 80.
You are from
Yeah.
Say 100. Less than 100.
100,000.
Less than 100.
So 700,000. No.
Yeah,
100,000.
10
So it's
million.
That's a lot.
100,000.
Yeah.
It's 100,000. So
Yeah.
if you take 8 CR, which is like 800,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is how we take the calculation. 800,000, which is like
So a couple of.
No, 800,000 is not.
no, not 800. Actually 80,000. No, not even 80.
No, see. 1 million.
Yeah.
1 million is 10 lakh.
10 lakh.
10 million is 1 crore. Okay.
1 million is 10 lakh. No. 1
No, 1 million is.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 million is 10 lakh.
No, 10 lakh is 10,000. 10,000 pounds.
Okay, it
Pound,
doesn't
I'm just
matter.
talking about
Look it
normal.
up.
Okay, the normal
Normal.
terminology.
I'm not converting.
Oh yeah, you're not
I'm not
converting.
converting.
Yes.
So,
It's
so
a normal.
1 million is 10 lakh.
Yes.
10 million is what do you call it? 1 crore.
Yeah.
So you had how many million? 6 million? 7 million?
7.
So 7 million Indian rupees divided by 100 will give
Exactly.
a figure of this.
700,000.
So thing I've noticed
So you are a businessman?
I work in.
You are a businessman?
No, sir, I'm a student.
Student?
I've got my
Please join here.
qualification.
Where are you?
You're a student
I'm
of?
from UK.
IIT Madras.
Got the qualification.
Wow! Don't tell me that. I saw you
I've got
yesterday, 2 days back
I
wearing
work
black
I work
thing.
as a business
Yes, sir.
analyst.
So which
Work for
year?
large
I'm in
companies,
third year.
looking
And
at
which,
business processes
technical
and
engineering.
how to
Technical.
be efficient.
I lead the entrepreneurship cell over
One thing
there.
I noticed
Oh wow!
when you're talking,
My brother-in-law's brother, he set up the entire biotechnology in there, in Adimadas.
Yeah, it's Asia's number one right now. The bioscience department.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mentioned
Because
things about
IIT Madras in my time used to be a niche for certain things.
Yeah.
Until
You know,
1980,
that's what
you
I
were
said.
earning more
I don't know.
financially.
Still you find dealers and
You do better
same thing.
than me.
The area same.
Yes.
Area is not expanded. Of course, there was no scope.
Black Dealer is there. Black Book is there.
And still the same buses there?
Yes,
So
sir.
my world.
Buses are like renewed also, but the old ones are also there without windows and
Sometimes
without the glasses and all.
One is like.
I have to go long time ago visited. Long time.
yes.
According to me.
So you
If
stay in
you
the hostel?
pretend,
Yes.
oh, you know, I think I've done enough and I'm.
My hometown is Delhi,
like,
so I
Yeah.
come here for
No, that
vacation.
confidence I have in me.
Electrical, you
because
said?
nobody has
Yes.
ever done
What is the
something
focus?
like that. or-
Yeah.
Job thing.
Now the second thing is I still have to
I
try.
mean, there you want to power industry, you
and do
will go.
more.
And you
Sir,
can.
I am in a
and
dilemma.
I need to assemble.
Like I'm in dual degree, so I have time to decide regarding that.
I'm taking 5 years.
Jump
Integrated.
Dual degree, so yeah,
Next
integrated
level.
course.
Yes.
Integrated course. So no, isn't it dual degree means
Identify
MTech
BTech
or
plus MTech.
BTech plus MTech,
weak
5 years.
areas, where I'm weak.
Because dual
And,
degree,
So there's two.
I think
And then
Kharagpur
where
started.
Yeah, with MBA.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not all of them will
One
start.
is
Yeah, not all.
get all the business advice from advisors,
Right.
and that's something that needs to be done. And also, if we understand ourselves more about our values, our fears, our guilt, our shame, which we might not necessarily be aware of,
What's the
we can
value?
transcend those.
I've come across people who are phenomenal. I mean, I don't have words to
See,
explain.
because you didn't choose that. You chose this. You chose to train people actually.
No, what I mean is I learn from the people
Yeah.
who, okay, this person, let me give you a background, he is not even 8th. Okay? And he ran away from Sri Lanka. He's an Indian. He's a Gujarati, Sindhi Indian, born in Sri Lanka. He ran away from home because there was at the time all this problem was going on. Identity and all those things. Okay? He ran away. He went to Hong Kong. There he got a job as a cleaner, office cleaner. I mean, not peon. Peon is a worker hire.
But you know what? You are
Subhashis.
Subhashis.
It's very difficult name, yes. So you show is okay.
Yeah. Okay, you know, sometime I've been attending all these sessions for the last 4 days. This is probably the 5th day. So all these stories I've heard, even in that Peacock Lounge, the hall upstairs, all these people who have become successful now, they do talk about their story and inspire people like us who really want to do well.
Then you don't know what to do.
The question is, it doesn't mean, like, you know, I've seen many icons, like, you know, who have done this and that. But the person, when he's even doing that, his target is not to do that. He's probably doing, even if, you know, आप जैसे अभी बता रहे हो कि वो झाड़ू लगा रहे थे या जो भी इस लड़की ने किया. So she probably doing it to sustain, to manage that time. But her thinking must not be there. He or she, whatsoever.
Yes, they all have their.
No, I wanted to.
Yeah, she may be.
I have to
he
give
may
you the
be having
background.
a vision that where she wants to reach. Not to reach there, she cannot reach overnight.
No, I have to-
This is the ladder.
She's here trying to reach.
Yeah.
The background to bring out the basics.
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
unless you understand
Yeah.
this person, you won't understand the basics.
No, I understand.
Okay.
Okay.
We reflect where we are on our
interacting.
Please.
I've been only listening for the last 4 days, and this is the 5th day, and I'm
And you're in the
sitting.
right place because
Yeah.
that is exactly what
I'm
she
happy to be here, like, you know,
Yes.
because I have not been interacting, and I'm only absorbing, listening,
Yeah.
because this is the first time in my life.
Yes.
It's all women, and I'm in such a beautiful atmosphere. I took out these 5-6 days for myself. I said, no, I think I need to be here, because there's going to be so many people who are going to speak about their experiences and all. You never know where I connect my dots. Actually.
You're in the right
I will
place.
never talk about my experience. My experience, my qualification, biggest qualification is my failures. That is my number one qualification.
I've been listening to this,
Okay.
that failure, like, you know, now today I want to connect.
So this guy,
You are.
no, I'm just telling you that this guy, then he somehow reached Taiwan. He started his own fabric manufacturing, fabric yarn manufacturing thing. Very small, very small. Taiwan in those days was very industry friendly. Then from there he started spinning mill and this thing. When I went to him, his question was, "Are you going to teach me how to do business?" Now imagine at that time he was $200 million company. He interviewed me, okay? I said, "No, sir. You are the person, the type of person on which Harvard, Oxford, or IIMs study and make their case studies. They learn from you. I can't teach you anything. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the difference which will take you to the next level where you're stuck." So they were stuck. The major, I don't know if you have heard of the customer called Under Armour. Under Armour. UNDERARMOUR. It is a
Right.
big,
Yeah, Under Armour.
it is a
The
big
brand.
success story.
Yeah,
Yes,
like
sir.
gym wear.
In 2015, January, they became number one, beating Nike. Nike, you know. But nobody, very few people know about Under Armour. And he's manufacturing for them. So Nike gave him challenge until they have got most of the workers from Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Jordanians, because they are in Jordan, one of the factory. And they gave ultimatum to him, unless you change to new systems and processes, we will stop giving you this. Imagine from being preferred vendor to not having a business at all. That was time he engaged me. So there is somebody who knew me who recommended that. Okay. So we decided on something called lean systems, lean manufacturing systems. It's actually done by Toyota. But if you apply the same way what Toyota does, it won't work. So we decided on that. And lean is something, it's a concept, it's a culture. Okay. It's a very basic thing. Very basic.
So sorry.
No.
I just,
We're also pretty
now I can see the.
Yeah, no, no.
Yeah, I'm not oh my God.
You're not very well. Now the picture is not clear.
No.
You're welcome. Because the more people we have, the more diverse questions they have, the more challenge they have. It is much better for all of us.
Yes.
Best for me. Because it is a learning for me more than learning for you.
It's equal, I think.
Yes. Okay. So this is the background of a person who is now $500 million. It's kind of okay thing, but when you look at the background of people, you find he was offered to be registered on NASDAQ, which is a very big thing. Yes, sir? If you get offered to get registered on NASDAQ, is a huge thing. Right? So he's that type of person. And from these people, I learned the basics. Whenever I deviate from the basics, all the big brands you would have heard have failed. Some of the big brands are Kodak, Polaroid, BlackBerry, Motorola. Okay, Motorola. Imagine
remember I was using a mobile Motorola.
No, Motorola is still there, but
Yeah, but
that iconic
it's-
status zone.
Exactly.
Motorola is the one which actually invented Six Sigma. There is something called Six Sigma. Okay, GE perfected it, but they created it, yet they vanished because they just stepped out of basics. Okay, so we'll talk about the basics. Sir, you are an entrepreneur?
Yes, sir.
Very good, sir. So we'll share our experiences. Sir, what about you?
I am telling it, sir.
Yeah, please. Okay, I would expect you to challenge everything I say. Assume that I am the dumbest person. You are forced to.
Is it start?
Yeah, we can start informally. Please
You
come.
got muted.
Yeah, nice. Lynn, you want to start?
No, I'm only panelist. I'm where's the other history?
No idea. No idea. Time is on. Yeah, on.
I'll
So
go
please
at the
start.
end.
You
No,
started.
no, I
Then I
don't
will
want to.
correct it.
Sorry. Sorry, no. I'm a panelist.
Yeah.
So I'd like to go at
Would you like to go with?
the end.
Okay, that's okay. Dr. Vijayakumar.
I'm not doctor. Vijayakumar.
Mr. Vijayakumar. Please come here then. Please come here.
Just 1 second.
Sure. Today, whatever the time is here, we are going to spend together. I hope that all of you, whether you are in job, whether you are planning to go back to job, whether you are a business person, or whether you are planning to start a business, you go with some takeaways. One, at least, which you can go and implement. I am not an academic person, so I won't be giving you theories. I will be only giving you basics. Okay? Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. Thanks. So, Mr. Vijayakumar, can I invite you to come and we never met? Yes, straight away. So, otherwise,
No, I just wanted to explore some of these pictures.
You carry on, sir.
Only
All right.
seems to get started.
So we are talking about business basics, overcoming challenges of entrepreneurship to survive, grow, sustain, and take our organization to the top. All right. All of us, when we start, we have the similar dreams. Yes, no. Yes.
Yes.
But the statistic says out of 10,000 startups, only one will survive. Out of 100,000 startups, only one will be successful. Out of 1 million startups, okay, one will become global. What you call unicorn. That means billion-dollar company, right? Okay. So why this happens? The first reason is the idea itself. Or rather, okay, let me tell you. First reason is you, the leader, the owner, the entrepreneur, your mindset. Okay. Second is the idea. I will give a small example of something which I came across about 4 days back. One gentleman called me up and he said, I have constructed a resort in a place called Rishikesh. Okay? It's a spiritual place plus tourist place. Okay? And he was asking me what tariff should I put. I almost fell down. I said, what? You put millions of dollars in constructing and you don't even know what tariff you will be charging? What was the purpose of your starting? Are you with me what I'm saying? many times, and the place I stay, I have seen, see, food people say is something which will never go out of business. Because people will always need to eat. But I know thousands of startups which wind up within 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. After investing, wasting so much. Right? Why? Okay. So we will talk about one by one. Mr. Vijayakumar, what you would like to talk about this thing? How will it fit? You please decide. And Lynn. Okay? Alright. So how do we start? What do you want me to shall I ask the challenges from you and then find the solutions, or shall I give you the challenges and you pick it from there?
I think you start and then I can.
Alright. Okay. One of the challenge which I find the businessman has is managing cash. They invest, they spend, but the money doesn't come in. Okay. Second is getting the customer. Third is getting the profitable customer. Sometimes by a lot of methods you get a customer, but that customer makes you spend so much of your effort, energy, money, time that is not profitable at all. And then retaining the customers. Okay. Then comes hiring the talent. And I don't know why a lot of leadership challenge come in this picture. You know, we hire those people whom we can control. We don't hire people who are smarter than us, who are more qualified than us, who are more experienced than us, because we are scared that we look weak. Okay? And that is one thing is suicidal. If you don't have the greatest people, you can't have the greatest company at all. Okay?
But sometimes we just don't hire such people. My personal experience.
Right?
Because in India, I'm not talking about outside India, people are not so professional to maintain their designation. They just jump into your territory and then try to, put you down or make you feel like that. Sometimes this is also one of the hindrances that we don't move forward.
Come
With
again?
that,
No, you are talking about hiring the right people?
hiring the right people in terms of, like you said, that you sometimes don't hire those people who are smarter than us in the business.
Right.
It's like a suicide. You just said
Yes,
it.
yes.
But sometimes I think, from my personal experience, like I tried once or twice, they forget their own job. Even no matter how intelligent, when you hire them, they appear to be really very intelligent to you. But when they come into your job, they forget their designation, that they jump into your zone, which
Let me elaborate then.
Again.
What type of people we are talking about here?
right,
I'm not talking about intelligent people.
right.
Sorry. I will therefore. I am not talking about intellectuals. Please understand. Intellectuals are those what you learn from the degrees and diplomas and certificates in institutes. I am talking about intelligent people. Okay. Intelligent people are those who will challenge you, who are rebel. Okay? Who have a drive, who have a passion, who don't join you for earning money. They join you to learn and create a career for themselves. I'm talking about those people. Okay? Because I have seen few startups. The people have grown with the owners. Okay? And they are the people who have given their 100%. They are not they will say yes sir. They will immediately challenge you if they find something. Finding that kind of people. Drive and passion. This is Google's basic, in fact. They don't look for qualification. Pardon me?
When you're ready, could I just answer the question? When you finish speaking,
Yeah.
could I just also say something?
Yeah, sure. You want to add right now? You can add.
not everything. When you go looking for people to come and help you, it's not necessarily the best qualified person that you're looking for. In terms of your staff, it's people who share similar values to yourself. So when you're recruiting people, you need to be asking the right questions of them to understand what actually drives them. Do they share the same common values that you do? And if they do, they'll be inspired to work well for you. And it'll be the same if you look for any expert advice from outside. It's in the questions that you will be asking them, you will be able to connect with them. But when you connect, then they will help you. And I understand for like early entrepreneurs, what often happens is you waste a lot of money looking for the right person to solve the problem that you have. Later on in my talk, I'll talk about a different way of looking at some entrepreneurial challenges and how they might be overcome. Because one of the things I've learned in my life is the only way out is in. And sometimes they're issues, not issues as such, it's just part of our journey as we move along and we grow, that we need mentors who can give us that advice for jumping to the next step. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So, Banerji, are you want to come in?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Morning to all of you, and thank you for being here. I'm going to talk about a journey that's taken us over 20 years to accomplish. Let me begin by introducing myself. I'm Vijayakumar, as indicated here. We run a family business that deals in the manufacturing of fragrances and distribution of aroma raw materials. We are the third generation in this business. The family has been doing this for the last 100 years almost. And this is our primary area of occupation and interest. And sometime in the 90s, we decided that we should do something else other than what we've been doing with the family's institutional businesses. And I was particularly impressed by our Swamiji Dayananda Saraswati, whose lectures I attend frequently. At some point in one of his lectures, he indicated that every person in this world, every person on this planet, if you want to do something useful, if you want to make a contribution, then at the end of your life you must be able to decide whether you were a net contributor or a net consumer in terms of your life on this planet, which means you have to take stock of what you do, and at the end of it all you must be able to say, I did a little more than what I took from the planet. And he says, if you want to save the planet, if you want to keep the earth from going apart, then all of you, in some measure, big or small, must end up making a positive contribution. So this thought was very much in my mind, and I thought, how is it we can do, apart from the urban life and the conspicuous consumption that all of us are engaged in, what is it that we can do? So our first thought was, let's do something green. Let's engage ourselves in social forestry, grow plants, grow trees, because that is one way of bringing about some sort of a balance. So in 1990, we picked up a piece of land, about 10 acres, not a very big area, about 20 plus acres, which was absolutely barren. It was totally barren, and except for some weeds and thorny bushes, there was nothing else in it. In fact, in the village where we took this land, it's about 20 kilometers away from the city of Bangalore, for all of you know Bangalore. And every area around our piece of land was green. It had coconut trees and paddy fields and mango orchards and all of that. And our place was the only one that was absolutely barren. There was nothing there. So we set about doing what we could to make it green. My experience in plants, trees, vegetables, organic farming, all of that was zero. And it was as new a beginning for me as anyone else that was unaccustomed to farming. So we spoke to people we knew, others who had farms of their own. We visited the agricultural universities, interacted with the professors and others, attended seminars that spoke about social forestry, and all of that gave us the idea to set something in motion. So we started by first densing up that place and growing a lot of trees that would impact the environment. We selected extinct timber varieties, medicinal plants, aromatic plants, sacred trees. In fact, we have all the sacred trees that forms part of our Sanskrit and Vedic literature. We have every one of them in the farm. And today, in a period of 20 years, we have something like 4,500 assorted trees filling up that place. It looks like a dense forest. And it's greened up so much that today, if you look at the Google map, you will find that the rest of the village and the other areas around us have become barren. People there have cut down the trees and built industries and warehouses and sheds, and ours is the only oasis, the first green spot that you can look at. And it gave us a great deal of satisfaction that in terms of carbon credits, which is what people talk about today, we have enough bamboos dotting the periphery of our land that can give oxygen for 1,000 families throughout the year. And all of this was done selectively. I mean, there was a lot of learning that went into the process because we didn't randomly plant one casuarina tree or one eucalyptus or something like that, but we made a very selective process in building this up. Now, while the value of this place is priceless, I mean, it's immeasurable in terms of the impact on the earth and the ecological impact that we've made, we were still not commercially viable or successful in the sense that every year we were spending money on the place, but we were not getting anything out of it in return because nothing there was really saleable or commercially what we could offer to the market. That's when we thought, let's do some organic farming. And the concept is something that people are now beginning to accept with the amount that we read in the newspapers today, in the media and on television, the dangers of pesticide-filled vegetables and chemical-filled vegetables, how much disease and afflictions they are causing. So therefore we said, let's try organic farming. And we started growing organic vegetables, a range that would grow fairly easily in the environment in Bangalore, cabbages, beans, and tomatoes, and lettuces, and all of that. So we started doing that in the year 2010. That was about 15, 20 years after we set the farm. And the vegetables were growing well, but you know how, I don't know how many of you are associated or connected or know something about organic farming. Let me give you a small example. In 1 acre of land, if you want to do inorganic cultivation, all you have to do is plow it today, use a tractor, use a plow and plow it, and you need about 5 bags of inorganic mixed fertilizer. So you need 2 people to spread it around that 1 acre, and you're all set, you're ready to grow whatever you want. But if you want to do it the organic way, that same 1 acre will use up something like 5 to 6 tons of compost. And this compost is a mixture of biomanure, it comes from cow dung, you need a dairy, you need all of this to complement and support you. And when you do this and employ the labor that is needed to spread this across your ground and finally make the vegetables come up, your cost of vegetables is roughly 4 times what it would cost you to grow it the inorganic way. If tomatoes that are sold in the market cost you 12 to 15 rupees a kilo, your cost of growing organic tomatoes would be 50 to 60 rupees. And nobody is willing to pay that price. I mean, we had consumers, he mentioned earlier that you can finally get a market and you can get a consumer, but then they may not pay you the price that you want. It's difficult to retain your consumer if you insist on the price that you wanted to make it a profitable venture for you. So this was a challenge. So people started realizing and appreciating the value of organic produce, but they were unwilling to pay the price. So this was our biggest stumbling block. We were producing good quality vegetables. We were organizing ourselves well, but there was
work on that.
yeah. So that's the next step. So this we've been doing for many years, and because we had another industry to support us, we were basically running a family business that was pretty good and profitable. We found that we were diverting funds from the other business to keep supporting this. And since this was our passion and something that we always wanted to do in our lives, and since we were engaged in working in a place which was so green and so beautiful and so nature friendly, we simply didn't want to give it up. Then we started reading about how we can maximize the use of land and space to make it more productive, so that per acre, per square foot, we can do something that is a lot better than what we are currently doing. And that is when we came across this new and innovative technology called aquaponics. Pardon?
Yeah, you need to manage the time
Oh.
because there are two.
Okay, I have 2 more minutes. So we set up this aquaponics plant. Aquaponics is the marriage between the growing of fish and the growing of vegetables. So you know fish, the waste of fish has a combination of nutrients that's almost like any complete fertilizer. So we grow fish in bulk, we feed the fish organic inputs, and the waste of the fish goes to the plants and they fertilize the plants. I'll give you a few numbers here so you get the grasp of things. In an open field cultivation of 1 acre, even if you do 3 crops a year, you can grow about 20 tons of tomatoes. In an aquaponics farm, in the same 1 acre, which is under a greenhouse, polyhouse, you can produce 250 tons of tomatoes in a year. In an open field cultivation, for 1 acre, you will need something close to 40 to 50,000 liters of water per day. In an aquaponics plant, you use only 5,000 liters of water per day. There is absolutely no wastage, no evaporation loss, and no soil absorption. Aquaponics is soilless cultivation. You don't use soil at all the plants grow on water. It's amazing technology. And to help conserve energy, the entire plant is run on solar. We have a 120 kilowatt solar plant. So the entire aquaponics production is run entirely on solar. These are some of the features. It's environment friendly. It is non-destructive in nature. There is no effluent, no chemicals leaching into the soil, and this is the technology of the future. In fact, even before we started, we had all the 5 and 7-star hotels visiting us. We have so many orders on hand that we need to set up 2 more plants to cater to their requirement. And we were amazed. I mean, and the greatest satisfaction I get is the fact that I'm using this 50-acre farm in a way that I always dreamed about, and the satisfaction in knowing that we are keeping ourselves organic, clean, environmental friendly is probably more than the commercial aspect of this whole business.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. We will give you time. I mean, you got a brochure or something, so we can distribute later.
Nothing yet. I can
Lynn,
read it.
you would like to know?
I just want to ask, what would this farm you were saying that it's in a closure environment?
Yes, it's in a polyhouse.
So I'd like to know.
This is
Yeah,
this
I
is
know.
one of
This
the
is-
things which is happening now in the world currently.
Yeah.
Israel also is one of the pioneers in this. Arid reasons. All right.
Thank you so much.
very much. It's lovely to see that
Yes,
you've had great
fantastic.
success with that organic farming. I'm going to try and keep this brief because I really don't want to eat into the speaker's time. My name is Lynn Hope-Thomas. I'm from the UK. As you see up on the board, I'm an author and a speaker. I work in corporate. I'm a sort of a change analyst, a business analyst, consultant. And I've kind of been on the journey most of my lifetime. I've written this book. I mean, this session is about overcoming challenges. I've written this book called Breaking Through Loss. The biggest transformation I had was when I was 9 years old and I lost my twin sisters in the space of 1 month, and I went through this massive grief. I buried the grief because I didn't know that you could talk about grief and that was therapy or counselling. And as a young child, although I was happy playing in the fields, etc., and moving on, it actually had this massive impact that pretty much for decades I suffered further losses and grief. But I continued with my career, getting my qualifications in the world of corporate. It wasn't until I went out to Australia that I came across my biggest mentor and guru, Dr. John D. Martini. He's actually this weekend, he's been in London running the breakthrough experience which I went on, which is why I wrote my book. What I found there was the most fantastic tool to enable you in any walk of life, whatever your situation, whatever your problem or challenge. It is a method that I now use and incorporate in my work with corporations for overcoming different challenges. I have a 5-step method called REACH, and it has the power to take you to the next level. So I agree with all the business consultants. I don't disagree with following your methods. If you need a sales expert, a marketing expert, a technology expert, do use them. But there's something a little bit more in the equation, and that is yourself. And I'll just leave you with the saying that the only way out is in. So please remember, use your mentors and your consultants to help you as entrepreneurs. Thank you very much. I'll hand you back to Shu.
Thank you. How much time do we have? All right.
Another half an hour.
Another half an hour. Okay. Will
9:45 to 10.
you can add value to anything? Okay. Both of them. All right. One of the purpose of your business, like he talked about, adding value. So we'll talk about creating value proposition. You have to create value proposition for at least 4 segments of people. The number one value proposition has to be for your employees. Okay? And there I find a lot of issues entrepreneurs, a small startup face, because they find it is a waste, and in the process they start wearing a lot of hats. They start doing everything themselves. And let me tell you, this will make you remain the way you are. You won't grow. I have got 2 brilliant examples in India. One is my friend. That's the second example. Because they kept all the control, they are still keeping all the hats, almost all the hats. They are not growing. Okay? It is not a cost control. It is a wastage. Okay? So you have to have employees, you have to create a value proposition for employees. Okay? Then you have to create value proposition for your customers. So 4 or 5 questions you have to ask yourself. And if you cannot answer this and you cannot get vetted from other experts, you don't have a business to be in the business. The first answer, what you're selling. Okay? Second answer, who will buy? Third answer, why they will buy from you. Why they will buy from you. This third answer is the reason most of the startup wind up. If you do not have your own particular niche, you just cannot survive unless you have unlimited resources. Alright? And the next is creating a value proposition for our competitors. Now you will find that very surprising. What I am saying, you create your value proposition so that your competitor start having nightmares. Alright? It can be done. Let me give you an example. One of my client, a very small startup, is a chemical water treatment company. Okay? They were supplying to small factories. Their competition was Ion Exchange. Ion Exchange is a US multinational. Okay? Alright? Now, they have everything. Talented people, resources, money, they can sustain, without taking any profit. You don't have any of these things. Right? But after 2 years, this particular client eroded and got almost 50% of the client. I'm talking of powerhouses, big powerhouses. Okay? It can be done. But you have to create such a value proposition that it becomes nightmare for your competitor. If you cannot do these 3 things, don't be in business. Okay? Alright. How do we get the client? How many of you are struggling with getting client? Okay? All of us. Okay. All of us are struggling. Alright? Especially in WEF. Getting somebody in your room is a big nightmare. Sometimes you find only speakers. Alright? How do you do that? Let me give you a small example. I'm just giving an example that unless yours is a company which has got nothing to do with internet, if you're not there and not using the power, you won't be there for long. Okay? And the power, it is not website, it is something that you add value to the people. Okay? This gentleman, you know what he did? He started giving programs for the top executives, and he wrote a book on the practical issues of water treatment and boiler. Okay? And he gave free programs, I'm just giving an example, to all these people. He created a blog. He became number 2 in India as far as hit is concerned after a person called Sandi. I don't know, some of you might have heard. Okay? He was number 2 as far as YouTube hits are concerned. And after that, he's getting invitation from Africa to come and talk, to consult. He doesn't need that, but of course he created that value. He created a business. Okay? Don't sell. Make people come to you by creating such a value that people think, see, you have to create a power. Power is your expertise. Why they should buy from you? And they will only buy from you when they see you are somebody who is interested in their welfare. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes.
Alright. Second comes attracting talent. If you cannot attract talent, the right-minded people who will work for you, who will give their best, you just can't do much. I know of 2 people. Both are my client, and one has remained same and one has grown big. Both owners I know. One is called SBL. Anybody knows about SBL? No. SBL is a homeopathic company.
Yes.
It's a homeopathic company. And other is Dabur. Okay? This man, owner of this SBL, okay, his son is from IIT Kanpur. Okay, he's totally frustrated with his father. He says even if a peon's, office workers sitting in Gangtok, increment has to be, he will sign. everything is in control. Whereas you go to the dabber, everything is run by them, they don't even meet with their, okay? So you have to do the job what chief executive or as an owner you are supposed to do, not do the job what an employee can do. Okay? Like Peter Drucker, one of the most respected management gurus said, business owner has got only two jobs, innovation and marketing. Innovation and marketing. Innovation and marketing, nothing else. You are the chief marketing officer. Okay? Your energy has to be on the business. And when I say marketing, you have to understand that you have to read the emerging trends. Nowadays, this is the time of disruptive business, disruptive thought practices. Anybody who can disrupt, okay, can have a business. If your strategy is right. If you cannot disrupt the existing, okay. But then there are again, in India, I'm giving Indian examples because I can give you other examples. It may not agree with, you may not be able to relate. There was a very big fear that big retailers, all the big houses, they came with supermarkets and hypermarkets. 15 years back, I don't think there were this kind of. There were small retailers. Everyone said small retailers will be killed. No, nothing happened. You know why? Because the small retailer used the tactic called guerrilla tactics. Okay? What they are giving you, this supermarket can never give. Alright? Even if you are small, you can actually beat the big one. You can hurt, is a David and Goliath, same thing. If you got this value proposition right, then you have to have the right marketing channels and right revenue model. You want one-time cash, which is very difficult because every day you have to dig the well, or recurring income. You want big volume, low margin, low volume, high margin. All these things are very, very basic things. Okay? If you cannot have the idea how to do it, you can get in touch with me. It's free. I'm not selling anything. This is my online business mentoring is something. There is an institute called TIFR, Tata Institute for Fundamental Research. They have an incubator farm. So they asked me to mentor their 60 startups who are in the molecular cell business. So I don't need to know your business, because if you don't know your business, then you don't have a business to be in that business. Right? So I won't be learning about your business. I will be adding value to you, and I have done mentoring for a lady in Nigeria recently. She's just starting a garment industry. Okay. So it is online mentoring, and you can avail that. You have to only give a problem statement that you are stuck there, and we'll only talk about the solutions. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Then, one thing which we don't do is invest in ourselves. We become so busy in running the business, everyday business, and we get sucked by the everyday business problems and challenges that we don't invest in ourselves. That is number one. Okay? You have to keep learning, and then you have to create a network of mentors. These mentors are those people you respect and admire. And if you do your homework right, I don't know whether you have heard, Richard Branson type of people have financed millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars to virtual unknown people. Okay, Ratan Tata. All do that. Funding. Okay, how many of you have funding issues? Attracting funding? How do you attract funder? I attended 1 year back a conference in this in same hotel, Entrepreneur India. Okay. There I saw venture capitalists sitting with their checkbooks. I said, wow, how do you do that? And it's very simple. They are just finding out what you have done before you are presenting the idea. Somebody said, if I share the idea with you, venture capitalist, what will happen? That venture capitalist, very large venture capitalist, he smiled. The idea is bullshit. Doesn't have anything, any power. Okay? Idea, anybody can have idea. Idea is like gas. Okay? Okay? Idea, venture capitalists will fund you. First, you get a customer. Get a customer first. Start very small. Very small. Get one customer. Get two. Get the endorsement. And then there will be time. You get back to me. I will create, either connect with you or through crowdfunding platforms. I will organize you to get funded. That is not a big thing. But you should have the basics right. If you don't have basics right, first of the basic is adding value. Second basic is positioning. That if you want to become a great organization, first is add value. Second, position. You have to have a niche. Okay? I'm just giving a very old, dumb thing, but it is good, still good. I can give you a longer example. When Pizza Hut was there, Pizza Hut was the largest dine-in. Right? Adding value means, see, sir, you are a web developer? He asked me, well, how can I grow? Okay, I said, how many web developers are there? Web developers, website developers, how many are there? In my society where I live, there are more than 100. There are more than 100. In entire Delhi, there will be hundreds of thousands of web developers. Why should I talk to you? Why should I talk to you? I've got my own web developer. You have to create some disruptive value which will sit me and take notice. Yes, this could be. Because I am looking for my success. I'm not looking for your success. When you show me that your proposition makes my goals easier to achieve, beat my competitor, or add value to my customers, then I start thinking about you. Yes? There's no other way. And this has to be basic. When you get in touch with me with your problem statement, I'm going to ask a lot of questions. Sometimes the question may last for, continue for like 1 month. Every day I'll shoot you 10 questions when you ask, okay, I got this. Because once you get answers, then you can start working on the basics. Because most of us, I gave you the example. This guy built a resort 1 week back. He called me up. He's telling that what tariff should I put? Now he has already spent millions of dollars and now he's asking. I said, how? Wow. I wish I had that kind of money. Right? Now, like he said, they use the technology. Okay? Technology is a tool. But if you're trying to go for a startup, don't go in brick and mortar manufacturing thing, because that is a very long gestation period. And chances of failure is very high. But you go for the back-end work. Back-end is the best. Services, back-end is the best area. And create something. I know one company which became $100 million in just 2 years. You know what they did? They just connected all the mechanics of major cities to their portal. Simple. Simple. Okay? And in 2 years, $100 million. $100 million is not a joke. And what investment? One room like this. How many search engines are there? How many search engines are there?
Bing and Google.
Who we use more?
Google.
As long as they stick to the basic, they will remain Google. Otherwise, they will become Yahoo. Yeah? Correct? So it is about basics. So now I will hand over the phone to the. If you have any specific question which can be tackled now, we can talk about the specific challenge. Yes, ma'am.
I just need from your experience.
Yes.
I just need from your experience of having mentored so many companies, can you just share with us the top 3 reasons why companies have failed? I mean, you've been mentoring somebody, and in spite of your mentoring, this company goes down, and you have in your mind suddenly, okay, I know why this guy failed. He should not have done that. Okay, and then probably there could be a couple of more examples. Can you mention?
Okay. Okay.
I think one was the SBL one.
One, let me tell you one thing. Sometimes people hire consultants. Okay. Suppose you have hired me. Fine, good. So they will sometimes they'll listen to you also. Many times they don't. Sometimes they'll ask you also what to do. But they still go and do the same thing what they're doing. That is one. Okay. That is one reason that they are not changing themselves. They are not changing themselves. Okay. Second reason is that certain their fantasies, certain their prejudices, certain preconceived ideas are the one which were killing them. Initially they were reason for the success, but with the changing time and technology, it has not been changing. Okay. Third is the reason they don't invest in people. This is number one reason I would say. They don't invest in people.
Thank you. It's a great question, and I can totally concur with what she just said. Sort of corporations I've worked in, some of them are more successful than others, but the likes of Ford, I've worked for Heinz, British Aerospace. I'm a private consultant, but they also bring in the top consultancy firms to get advice, and I cringe inside when I see what they're doing, because they're earning very, very good money and not providing much service at all to to the top managers. And like you said, the reasons are there are fantasies, there's conflict going on, there's companies that end up dying off are the ones which have, they don't, I did this talk yesterday, they don't embrace their lost stories. So you've got managers putting on a brave face, they're hiding the truth about what's going on. And even on a smaller scale, for entrepreneurs, you might have that with your staff, because they've got their own fears, they've got their own fantasies or delusions of where they think they are, and sometimes that's difficult to actually get to the bottom of. I find that advice that I give quite often gets ignored. I've learned to just let go and realise that when you're ready, the teacher and the master will appear. When you're ready to learn the lesson, you'll appear. The master will appear. So yeah, I don't know.
And then they fail to engage the customer. Engaging customer is as important as engaging the employees. Okay. Engaging customer is a very, very important thing, because getting cost of acquiring a customer in terms of time, effort, money is huge. Okay, and everybody has doing business with somebody. Why will he come to you? So it takes a lot of effort. Retaining customer is there. Weeding out non-profitable customers is one thing which nobody does. That is another reason they fail. There are some customers, it's a big brand, because of prestige are holding to them, but they drain so much of effort that there are no more. Okay.
You should have the guts to say no to your customer.
Yes, you should have guts to say.
I did that. I did that.
Yes.
You have to say no to your
You
customer.
said one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Despite the onslaught of big companies, the small ones, they do good business because they employ guerrilla techniques. What exactly you mean by that?
Guerrilla tactics, okay, let me take the examples. Guerrilla tactics is something, they use one of the thing is called relationship. Relationship.
Personal. Personal touch.
You go to Kashmir, okay? You can't find a terrorist. They are standing in front of you. You can't find them because they have such a wonderful relationship with the people. That is one technique. Second technique is, which I called Rolls-Royce technique. They create such a niche which is so small that other competitors cannot come there. Okay? I don't know whether you've heard of a Lee Iacocca. He was an iconic person who turned around Chrysler. Okay. He used Chrysler turnaround with one model Jeep Cherokee. There is a vehicle called Jeep Cherokee. He used only that. That is guerrilla tactics. You hold on to your own one single USP.
Yes.
And that USP is so small, it's unprofitable for competitors to come in. Now Rolls-Royce, how many Rolls-Royce you can have? Okay. Because Rolls-Royce is an iconic thing. They just believe in high margin, low volume. And they give ultimate in, say, comfort. Ma'am, is that clear?
Yes. See, what I found in Bangalore and other cities, with these big shop complexes like Metro, Big Bazaar, Food World, Decade, there was a big furor over how the small shopkeepers sustain. They have done it because they are easily accessible. In small areas, they have their own shops. Instead of going to a big place like Metro, it is much easier to go to a small shop to buy your small needs.
A
So
small
that's
shop
why
can
they
have
have
quality
survived.
control.
They have survived.
Quality control is the most important
The
thing.
big ones, they have not posed a challenge for these things. They do
No,
survive.
let me tell you, ma'am.
So I thought that
You are saying correct. Let me tell you one more reason why multi-level marketing failed. Have you heard about multi-level marketing? Amway and all? Same reason these supermarkets failed. When they came with the promise that because you are buying bulk, we will be getting a very good price and will pass on the price to you. Did it happen? You are getting it at the same MRP. Whereas your small retailer, he gives in some discount. Okay, then in big shops you get something 100 grams only. You can't get 20 grams. Small retailers will give you. These are all guerrilla tactics. This is your niche. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to add a few points here from our own personal experience. We stay in a place called Gandhi Bazaar, which is one of the oldest localities in Bangalore. It's one of the oldest. And as a family, we buy from a local provision store just about 50 yards away from our house. Now, he mentioned about relationships, which is very important.
yes.
My father-in-law and his father probably knew the shopkeepers first generation. So there is a huge connection. We know that man, we attend the weddings in his family, we know one another so well. So we just don't want to break that relationship. We are so close. And anything that we need, we pick up the phone and tell him. His helper boy brings it home in the evening and delivers it at our doorstep. We don't have to pay him immediately. He keeps track of what we buy and sends us a bill at the end of the month. I mean, this is amazing service. I mean, where can you get this sort of personalized home delivery service?
Trusted.
And there is something that you don't like, you send it back. You say, look, what you sent me last week was terrible, we don't want it, replace it. And he replaces it, everything with a smile. So you can't go to a metro and get this sort of service. I mean, it's impossible. And the other aspect that he mentioned was all of them came with the promise that when you come and buy in a metro or in a large shopping center that has a chain store, you will end up getting something much cheaper than your local retailer. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened. So you don't get the monetary benefit, you don't get the service that you want, and you don't get the relationship that you're looking forward to in a supplier. So all these three come from my retailer who is just next door. I mean,
Yes.
I'll never move to a big store. I won't do that anytime.
The hassle of parking and
Yeah.
also long lines
Yeah,
in the
yes.
bills.
There are several other
That is
added,
what is most
there are
important.
several other
Parking
added
and-
problems
yeah.
to that. and which compound the situation and make it so much worse. So why will I change? I won't.
I will end up with
profits.
one service example which happened with me 30 years back. 30 years. Okay.
You don't look that old.
I'm very old. Okay. You know, in Delhi, outsiders may not know there is a water crisis every year. Okay. At the time, the place we are living in used to we used to get the water supply at 2:30 in the night. Okay, and the tank is in 4th floor. Tank is in the 4th floor, and there was no equipment, no gadget. Okay, so you have to climb, switch on the motor, then go up, see whether it's filled. Otherwise, the water will be wasted. So many things. Okay, one guy within 7 days he came back. Is there a problem? No, why shouldn't there be a problem? You just, no, let me check. He went and checked, okay. Again, 15 days later, he came back. He says, is there a problem? No, it's running okay. He went and checked. Then he brought down the leaves and he said, these leaves have become old, rusted, so I replaced them. So immediately, no, this is part of the deal. Next 6 months, he kept doing that. Okay. Now you tell me, if somebody says I have this problem, what will I do? What will I do? I will report him. Okay. Now that is creating nightmare for a competitor. That is value adding. This kind of value, I don't think I've come across anywhere. Okay. So thanks a lot. And somebody is asking a question here. Say it. Before you asked. Question? You had. Okay. All right.
I raised hand with last.
All right.
Now I just wanted to, I mean, if some pictures are loaded, I can just show them on screen so you can take a look at the farm. Yeah. We really don't have the aquaponics pictures here because I wasn't expected to make a PP PowerPoint presentation. So you just imagine this entire place was barren and there was nothing there 20 years ago. Just keep quickly moving. There are a lot of photographs. You just keep. This is a composting heap. We have a dairy with 20 cows, and then that's where we. This is an azola tank where we have nutritious foliage for the cows. Now this is the old organic plantation before we set up the aquaponics. We even sell dahlia flowers in the season in the flower markets.
So this part of still exists?
All of this is there. I mean in 20 acres, the aquaponics covers just 1 acre now. So we are hoping to expand and use more of our space for that. So this is how it is. Most of the area is like this, very dense and lots of trees and plants. And all these trees have grown in less than 20 years.
So we can end. What's time? Say? Okay. Thanks a lot for bearing with us. Because sitting that side is the most difficult task. Okay. Thanks a lot. Have a great life. Yeah, picture. Please come.
No, I think
Oh,
Oh, thank you. That was lovely. Thank you for those photos. What a beautiful site.
we should come the three of you together, and then we all go.
Yes, that was lovely. Very interesting. I loved your stories and what you've been providing. people to overcome challenge and expand their businesses. I'm also a mentor with my method, and I've put a card on the table if you feel free to take one. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Teacher.
Thank you all. All the best.
We expect this from
Excuse me, sorry. Can we just finish this group photograph? Yeah. So that we can leave.
First to finish a few.
Dan, please come. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we are having a group photo.
Do you want to go in the middle? It's your session.
Sure. Ma'am is coming.
Yes, everybody is coming on. Yes, look at the side. Hold on. Anybody want photo phones?
Okay. If you have your phone, if you give it, yeah, give the phone. Give the phone. Phones on the table.
Most of them.
And remove my camera.
Excuse me.
It's just before you switch off.
Please have it again.
Again.
Yeah.
Only thing which we cannot replicate is smile.
Yes. Excuse me.
Sir.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
तो वैसा बात नहीं है ऐसा बात नहीं Yes. This is the last one. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Done. Thank you.
Thank you.
There was a problem with mechanical smile, it is not off suddenly.
Thank you.
not it's not, that part is okay.
Just one thing that
Done. Thank you. हेलो ठीक है ये तो ऑटो ऑटो बोलो ये इसको मजबूर कर देते हैं पहले को तो ऑटो कर देना पहले को ऑटो करते इस पे कर दे तो दूसरी इसमें आएगी वो सिंगल ही आएगी ना फिर तो बंद हो गया चैनल हमारा तो इंटरनेट में कर देना स्टार्ट करो यही रहेगा सही हेलो वहाँ पर रख दो माइक के पास ठीक है अगर कोई दिक्कत हो दिस वन दिस वन दिस वन दिस वन हेलो ओके रिपोर्ट मैनुअल ले ले जितने में धीरे बोले थोड़े धीरे ओके आएगी इसे रख दूँगा ये ऑटो पे है ऑटो नहीं ये मैनुअल है ये ठीक है ऑटो कर देना बहुत स्लो बोलेंगे तो बहुत मामूली आवाज आएगी अब देख कितनी अच्छी आवाज आ रही है हेडफोन है तेरे पास वाह चलना अरे रुक जा यार कितनी लाए आगे आगे जा आगे जा क्या सही यार तू आगे जा इधर से जाऊँ क्या तो उधर से लूँगा उधर रख दूँगा एक बार जरा बोल एक
most of the time we used to have mountain same government office.
Okay. The mic पे है. Mic पे भी. वो रहा ना वो रखा हुआ है.
Here, the only difference with this God is it's another.
I'm shorter than you. Yeah, but I'm not very good at standing. I'll be going all over. Hello, hello. Is this the microphone number? Yes. Hi. Y'all gonna hang out in the back? It's okay if you're comfortable. I'm gonna make you move around. Yeah. Are you? Oh, I didn't know those were coming. Yes. Okay. That's good to know. Okay. So, yeah, so that'll work. I was, because I've done it for the hours, all the suggestions. So how, did she tell you how many there were going to be?
Inside the thing, I believe there was three, I got to say four, and so on. Because they rearranged some stuff.
Yeah. Because when I looked at the board, it was like,
On your name on it, and when I went in, when they told me and they told me that I was on it,
okay.
no, come on, you think, I will come behind you when you're done, give me 5 minutes, and then I put somebody, okay, very sure, I am absolutely sure. And then,
Are you the one that is 63?
yes.
They were showing me a picture. Oh my God.
That's me. So emotional intelligence keeps me. So no, I'll sign because I seem to get caught outside the line, and I don't have the line.
Intelligence in leadership. So I wanted to know, what was it that drew you to this session? Why did you want to come to this one?
Because I like the theory of EI.
Okay, excellent. Like the theory of emotional intelligence. What else?
Because all the time we hear about IQ.
Yes.
You know, so how to correlate IQ and EQ?
Right.
We get to know something.
Yeah. So we hear a lot about IQ.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what's the difference between IQ and EQ? Yeah, or EI. What do you think? Why don't come?
Emotional intelligence, something new, something.
Yeah.
And emotional is something that comes everywhere.
Yes, your emotions come. Yeah, they do. Emotions come everywhere. So being able to understand what it is. So how would you define emotional intelligence?
Being capable of understanding your emotions and taking the right way.
Okay, understanding your emotions, taking it the right way. What did you say? Is to talk about rules of engagement. This may sound kind of weird in a emotional intelligence talk, but in this, come on in. So in this room, how would you like to engage with each other? What are some of the rules of engagement you would like to have? Would you do me a favor and just write these rules down? What are some of the things that you would like to say? Open forum, absolutely.
Honesty.
What else? Honesty. Great. What else?
What's said in the room stays in the room.
What's said in the room stays in the room? Yes.
It's a Vegas. Cheers to know things.
To learn new things? Yes, absolutely. What else?
Respecting opinions, allowing everyone
Yes.
To have your opinion and to respect them.
Exactly. All right, so these are some really good rules. Can you read out the rules that you have?
Open forum, honesty, said in the room, say in the room, learn new things.
Okay. Excellent. So let's, Mel, look at these. So here's the thing. So there's part of emotional intelligence is being able to go a little deeper, right? So we've said some really great rules, but now I want to go a little deeper. So I'm going to make me put my glasses on. So open forum. What does that behavior look like? What does an open forum look like?
To me, my description is if you want to say something, you put your hand up, you acknowledge yourself, and
Yeah. So you actually speak up, right?
Yeah.
You don't hold it in. Absolutely. How about honesty? What does honesty look like here?
Tell the true story and don't embellish and don't make it a fake things. Give it inside out, the true you outside.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to tell the story, but honestly, authentically, right? Not because we think somebody else wants to hear something. I love that. What's in the room stays in the room. I love that. Learning new things. One of the things about this rules of engagement is I want you to think about what's more than, right? So this is a tool that you can use with your clients, with your teams. A lot of people use that rules of engagement and they'll say, okay, we want honesty, we want full participation, but then you don't show what the behaviors are, right? It's understanding the behaviors and getting agreement across. That's what really makes it happen. All right, so there are 15 skills to emotional intelligence. I wrote this book a couple of years ago. I do a lot of work with people in technology and engineering and now the hospitality industry. And they were all like, yeah, we understand emotional intelligence. What we don't understand is how do you apply it? So I started writing this book. It's like a journal for the different emotional intelligence skills. And then when halfway through writing it, Amazon came out and said that adult coloring books were the trend. So I'm a neuroscience geek. I'll geek out on you throughout this whole time. So I put in the mandalas so that, because scientifically it's proven when you color, your mind goes into a meditative state. It's peaceful, right? So then you can think about the questions and you get deeper answers, which is really cool. So one of the things that we'll talk through are the 15 skills. But one of the skills that I think is really important is relationship building. Right? So relationship building, how would you define relationship building? Yes?
It's something that's deliberate.
Okay, it's deliberate?
Yes, so it would be a case of you wanting to have an ultimate goal. You want to try and build rapport and everything, but it has to be deliberate.
Yes. Yeah, so it's building rapport, being deliberate about it. What else? What is relationship building? What is that? Associating with people. Yeah. So why would you want to build relationships? What's the whole point of that?
Gratification. Expression.
Expression?
What is something on you and get something that you learn from somebody else.
Get to know you. Mm-hmm.
Gratification of some of the needs to others.
Yeah, absolutely. Trust is a huge part of relationship building, right? If we're going to work together, because you think of this whole thing that I'm doing is around leadership, you've got to build relationships in order to build trust so that people will want to follow what you have to say, right? So one of the ways to do that is to be able to communicate well. So how many of you think you're really good communicators? Okay, good. All right, so one of the things, I'm going to get you up and walking around, so watch the camera here. I'm going to, so now you're leaving? Oh, okay, good. You're coming closer. Good.
I like it. I'm interested. I'm actively interested.
Great. Okay, so here, I'm going to divide you up into 2 groups. You're going to divide yourselves into 2 groups. if you think fast, walk fast, talk fast, if you're like this, I want you to come to the left side of the room. If you're a more moderate thinker, you like to think first before you say anything, you talk a little bit more moderately, you walk moderately, I want you to stand on this side of the room. Fast, moderate. Go.
Already changed.
Stand up. Yeah, go stand. Go stand.
What if
No,
you
no gray.
somewhere in between?
Which one do you do first, or more, right? Because we're going to be all four of these, and I'm going to divide them into. So if you're faster on this side of the room, moderate on this side of the room.
I already know the question. That's why.
All of them moderate. Yeah. So do. Yeah, because I'm going to have you stand up in the quadrants. Faster on. This is really important. Because this is going to be who you are, right? All right, so fast on this side, moderate on this side. Now, we just said the honesty. Honesty is one of our rules of engagement, right? All right, so I'm going to trust you. All right, now, so here's how we've broken this down, because you'll just be here for a few minutes. People who think fast, talk fast, walk fast on this side of the room. People who are more moderate thinkers, they like to think first before they speak. Moderate walkers, moderate talkers over here. Now, the second question divides you into 4 quadrants, is what we're going to do. The second question is, does your brain immediately think about tasks first or people first? Now, you're going to think about both, right? But which one do you think about first? If you think about tasks first, come to this side. So if you are a fast thinker and tasks, go stand over on this side. If you're a moderate thinker and tasks, stand on this side. If you are a fast thinker, people thought process first, moderate thinker, moderate speed, and people oriented first in that quadrant. Go stand. Fast on this side, moderate on this side, task on this side, people on that side. Stand. You'll just stand for a minute.
People here.
People back there. Fast people.
And here? And here? Fast task. It's fast task. It's only me?
Fast task.
Fast task. Yeah, is it only me?
All right, you got it?
No.
Yes, that's right.
Sorry, let me get this right.
Okay.
Yeah, fast, but task first.
Yeah, task first. All right.
If you first think about
You got
people,
your
you go there. If
quadrants?
you think about
Okay,
task,
so
you go there.
first let me say that you are all 4, right? Your brain just thinks the way you've divided yourselves up first. Then you are intentional about moving into the other ways. So let's do the fast and the task first, because this quadrant we call the drivers, and they got to make decisions and go. So we're going to take them first. All right, so it's just the 2 of you, or y'all part of this?
Yes, we're all 4 together.
It's the 4 of you? Okay, excellent. So what I want, I'm going to give you 3 minutes in your group. So I'm going to tell you again what the groups are. Take a piece of paper. I want you to write down what are the characteristics of your group. Y'all talk together. This task and fast, task and moderate, people and moderate, people and fast. And you work together as a group. So what are the characteristics of your group?
We have to decide, okay, what are the characteristics?
And the leadership quality, like we're like leaders.
Well, yeah, she already mentioned the decision taking fast, fast decision making. She already mentioned, for me, at first thing what needs to be done, and then who's going to do it.
Yeah.
Delegation.
Delegation.
While keeping the people in mind, that's what they
but first,
meant to say.
No, but first we
But
think
first
of
we
the
think what needs
task
to be
and
done.
then thinking who's going to do it.
Yeah. First I think this is what needs to be done, and then I think okay, this and this are going to do it. Yeah, not thinking who's doing it, and then what can it do. So first we need delegation.
Just 3 minutes.
For your person, like whom? I didn't understand. Like fast
trust and decision making, delegation. We delegate.
Yeah.
You're always on the top.
Right. Results oriented.
Okay, you got 30
Results
more seconds.
oriented. Results
Yeah,
oriented.
results.
Yeah. Very much. Then for me, I would say I'm very much quantitative, matrix driven, KPIs, measure results, very measure. Okay, are you? Because when you are task driven, then you have to measure the task is done. Very extremely
Then
quantitative.
for me, if we don't get results, I'm frustrated. Yeah. Frustrated. Things don't happen On time, especially.
But are you also that you measure results, measure KPIs, metrics driven?
All right, are y'all ready?
Key results. Depends on everybody's work.
Yeah. Keep it from straight.
You're still going?
Yeah, we can go forever.
Okay, all right. So let's pull back together. This is exciting. I love this stuff. I love the collaboration. Okay, so let's start with this group. So you are people-focused and more moderate in thought, although I challenge the fact that all three of you are together. So what characteristics show up in your group? So this is the group, this is the what we call the S. So these are the supportive group, right? All right, so here.
Join us now in the table.
We tend to overthink sometimes.
Okay, overthink.
Should I pass it to the team?
We are stuck between situations most likely to.
What do you mean by that?
We are often stuck between people and situation.
Yeah. Y'all hear that? So that sometimes they're stuck between people and situations.
Would not like that if you do.
Yeah.
We often start thinking between the working hours that we are doing work, but our mind is somewhere else.
Okay. Okay, great. Excellent. Yeah, so the people who are supportive, this group is the one who always asks, how can I help you? Right? They're the ones that make a team feel like a family. They're the ones that everybody goes and talks to. So this group, they don't talk to you. Because y'all scare them. They come and talk to this group over here. Right? Good. Excellent. Thank you. All right, so how about you?
Okay, I'll go.
Here you go.
Characteristics were diligent, reflective, I think this is all. Focused, visionary, analytical, sometimes we overanalyze.
Yeah.
Synthetic and synchronized thinking, multitaskers, introverted, honest, dependable, and very reliable.
Excellent. Wow. So this group is the C's. These are the conscientious group. Right? These are the ones that make sure that all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted. They make sure that all the details are handled. You drive them crazy.
Ooh, which ones?
This group. Because this group loves ideas and you're constantly shooting them down. But here's the thing, is this is the group that I work with most of the time. What I find is if you have this one phrase, right, so this will help you in life. This one phrase, you say to this group, you say, that's an interesting idea, would you like to hear my thoughts on how it could help? My thoughts on how it could help. Because initially, what your brain immediately does is see all the problems and see all the obstacles, which makes them feel like their idea was terrible. But really, what you're trying to do is how do we make the idea work? Because you got to plug all the holes, right? So your brain is great for making sure that we get things done, and it's done right. Good. So this group is called the conscientious group. All right. So let's get, we'll go to you later. So let's go to this group. So this group is called the drivers. Right? All right. So who's going to read the?
So I think we were very fast in deciding that what we agreed. So
of course you were fast.
Yeah. So we don't remain. We say we are leaders, fast decision making. We delegate because we need the task to be accomplished fast. First, what needs to be done, and then deciding who is doing it. We're very, very results oriented. Must be, must achieve results. get frustrated if we don't get it as done, the result achieved, and I added also very much measurement, KPIs, performance, is it good or bad?
Yes.
My ears shut down if my employee is saying this cannot be done. I said I just want how it can be done. There is no no in my dictionary. It's simple.
Exactly.
My ears are shut down. There is no no.
I
no
love it. I love it. Yes.
So I'm sorry, we're just coming right now, so apologies for the delay. I think you're making categories here.
We are.
So we just want to know which category we fit in.
Yes. So so just real quick, do you think fast, walk fast, talk fast, think outside, or do you think internally first and then speak?
No, we are the impulsive talkers.
So you're fast. Okay. So do you think about tasks first, or do you think about people first? I mean, you'll think about both, but which one do you think first?
Task.
So you're with this group.
You go there and you come here.
Yeah, this is just for them.
What
Yeah.
was the
So the drivers, the drivers are the people who make fast decisions, right? When you are talking to the drivers, I'm talking to this group over here. When you are talking to the drivers, you give them 2, maybe 3 bullet points. Bullet points, not descriptions. When y'all are talking to this group, they want to know all the information there is to know so they can make good decisions. This group assumes you've thought through it, so just give them the summary, right? They don't like the word no. How are you going to fix it instead? Right? Yeah, what's the solution? Go figure it out and come back and tell me. You go do it and then come tell me. Delegate, I heard delegate, yeah. So it's all about, they are willing to make the decisions, they're willing to dig in when they need to, but they assume that somebody else is going to do it. Right? They tell you what to do is what this group does. All right. So this group, this is the fun group. These are the I's. The I's are the influencers. All right, so who from this group is going to talk? Okay.
Good morning. I don't think this is on.
No, it's not.
Good morning.
What do you do?
Okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yes. It's for the video.
It's for the video. So we agreed that we're sensitive, empathetic, intuitive.
Stop lying.
1, 2.
This is the group which drives people crazy. I come to you, ma'am, I don't have the resources. No, I don't know. You have to get.
There's always a way to do things. There's always something.
No, it's not an answer.
Okay, let's try this again. Sensitive, empathetic, intuitive, cooperative, collaborative, understanding, considerate, tolerant, accepting, and creative.
Yeah. Sometimes. This is the group. I don't know. This is not right. This is the group that. This is the group that comes up with all the ideas, right? They are the idea gen. They love brainstorming. They love collaborating. They love working with people. They are the ones that want to be invited to all the parties. They probably won't come to a lot of the parties, but if they don't get invited, they get their feelings hurt. Right? Let me check my calendar. See if I can do it. So what's fun about this is you start thinking about, this is the way my brain thinks first. Now, as a leader, you start talking to all of your, so look at this. You are 25% of the team that you have. But you talk to the other 75% like an influencer. Right? So when you're doing that, sometimes you lose people because they shut out when they hear the word no. Right? So what you need to do as a leader is you need to start thinking, how do they hear what I'm saying? So here's this group, right? This group is a really big one. The drivers, they start to get that deer in the headlight look. I don't know, y'all say that in Texas, y'all say that?
Yeah.
Y'all know what I mean? They get that big look like, oh my God, she's still talking. My brain is trying to process, and she's still talking about 27 other things. Same with this group, right? You want to make sure as soon as she says the first thing, your brain is starting to think, okay, so what are the things that I need to do for this? She's on item 7, and you're asking questions for the first thing.
Yeah.
So, what's effective in how you speak to these two groups? The best thing, well, let me ask you. What's the best way they can speak to the two of you, these two groups, that would make it better for you?
For me, it's providing more detail and facts around what you're saying. So more facts and more detail.
Yes.
Yeah.
More facts, more detail. What else do you need?
The essence of things, but it depends on how each person perceives the essence.
Yeah, so what's the summary, what's the why behind it?
Yeah.
One of the things that I found that's really effective, because these y'all are my people, one of the things that I found really effective is, because these are the people that I hire, right? So I had to learn to make my list, send an email ahead of time for the meeting that we're doing tomorrow, to give them time to go evaluate, research, do whatever they needed. So when they came to the meeting, they were prepared. Because otherwise, when they come into the meeting with us, we're firing on all cylinders, and they're like, oh my God. They walk out and they're beat up, right? Because they don't have the answers that we want. They do have the answers. We just didn't give them time to say it, or to research it, or to do it, right? So when you're talking to this group, you want to make sure that you give just the highlights. When you're talking to this group, you want to make sure you give them enough detail, because they want you to be successful. They want to give you everything that's needed. So that's between these two. So these two groups, right? Y'all scare each other.
Which two?
Yeah, the opposites are the ones that scare each other, right? So in this group, they're all about ideas, they're all about fun, they're all about play, you're all about, no, we don't have time for that. Let's make sure that we have everything out, right? So they come up with an idea in a brainstorming session, you immediately go into, so what's wrong with that? How can we fix it? What are the problems that need to happen? And you get your feelings hurt. Because you're like, oh my God, they're questioning my abilities. They're questioning the logic that I have, all the different abilities that I have to do this work. So what you want to be able to do with them is make sure that it's not about you. They want you to be successful. They want to make sure that they give you what you need. Here's the thing. This group, again, you're my people. You think all your ideas are brilliant. They're probably not. Right? But it's hard to believe that my idea is not brilliant. This is the group that's going to make your idea happen. Right? So it's being able to, how do you take the idea and then put the legs to it to say, okay, so what are the parts of it that's really going to make it work? What are the obstacles? So then, because you're great at solution generating, right? When they come up with the potential problems, then you have that other option of saying, okay, so now this is how we can, these are different ways we can fix it, right? So being able to work together is really important. So you think from a team perspective, you want to make sure you've got people from all 4 quadrants on your team. Yes?
And what's the opposite? So how do we collaborate with them?
So how do you collaborate with them?
Yeah.
It's that if you have that phrase that I said in the beginning, that's an interesting idea. So interesting idea doesn't mean I love it, right? But it makes them listen to what you have to say. Because normally what this group will say to this group is no first. Yeah. And then you'll talk about all the problems, right? Because that's the way your brain thinks. but you don't really mean no. You just mean the way you said that idea, it won't work. Here's the different ways you need to do it. But if they, as soon as they hear no, their wall comes up, and they can't hear anything else you say. So just having that phrase, that's an interesting idea. Would you like to hear my ideas on how we could make it better? Or would you like to hear my ideas on how it could, what some of the problems could be? Because then problems, they can go into solution mode. So then you can work together really fast, right? All of this is about relationship building, which is one of the key foundations of emotional intelligence. Empathy is another key foundation of emotional intelligence. So how would you define empathy?
Ability to put yourself
Compassionate?
Ability to put yourself in somebody else's shoes.
Put yourself in somebody else's shoes?
I was going to say exactly that. Put
Yeah.
yourself in somebody else's shoes.
Yes.
Sympathy plus providing the solution.
Sympathy plus solution?
Yeah, so that is empathy.
Yeah.
To be extremely compassionate and go and lend a helping hand in terms of listening to the person. I think that is most important.
Yeah, empathy is about wanting to help and listening.
The person needs to be listened to, so just listen to him and be a passive listener. Let him
Yeah.
get it out of his system.
Yeah, I think listening is huge for empathy as well. So one of the things that, because I work with a lot of people from technology, engineering, kind of this group over here, that's woo-woo, right? Oh, I don't want to deal with all that empathy stuff. But here's the way I phrase it for this group, is that empathy is it's a data point, right? You're getting feedback. When you get emotions from someone, whatever the emotion is, if it's big anger or happiness or whatever, it's a data point. So it's giving you feedback, so then you can respond back. So remember, one of the issues for emotional intelligence is understanding your emotions, understanding their emotions, and then being able to influence the emotions. So when you think about it from a data perspective, that really helps figuring that out. So one of the things that I wanted to, let's see how much time we have. Okay, I'll take just a couple of minutes on this. I will, in this book, I've got,
No, here you go.
oh, okay. I thought I had 4. So what I'll do is I have this assessment. It's a quick little personal assessment on what the 15 different skills are and how would you rate yourself. If you're interested in getting a copy of the assessment, just give me your business card and I'll send you a copy of that. In the meantime, what I want you to do is I'm going to give you a high level what the skills are. And I want you to tell me which group do you think it's easier for them to have the skills, right? So the first section is around self-perception. So this is what we talked about, the emotions for yourself, right? Self-regard, which is respecting yourself, having confidence. Self-actualization is the pursuit of meaning, self-improvement, and emotional self-awareness, which is understanding your own emotions. Is there a group that you think it may be a little easier for them?
Understanding the emotions as
Yes, yeah. I think it's probably that group as well. All right, so here, since you answered that, I will, she wins that coloring book. All right. Now you get prizes. All right, so the next group, self-expression. So this one is about emotional expression. It's a constructive expression of emotions. Assertiveness, which is being able to communicate your feelings and your beliefs in a non-offensive way. And independence, feeling self-directed and free from emotional dependency. This one? Yeah, I think this one's here. All right, oh, what? Which one of you said that? There you go. Excellent. Congratulations. All right. Here's the next one. The next one is interpersonal. So the interpersonal is the interpersonal relationships, right? That mutually benefiting relationships that we talked about. Empathy, understanding and appreciating how others feel. There you go. Absolutely. Social responsibility, social consciousness, being helpful, absolutely. And then I'm going to stand over here so y'all get one.
Itching to get one.
There you go. This one's yours. Decision making. So the decision making problem, how true is it? Right? Because what happens, I'm going to geek out on you for a second. When you start with the emotions, right, when something happens to you, the amygdala, that piece in the middle of your brain, that's the one that says, friend or foe, are they like me, are they not like me, should I trust them, should I not trust them, right? It immediately goes into sorting people. Have you ever seen Harry Potter and the sorting hat? Right? It immediately starts sorting people into, should I believe them, should I not? Should I bring them close, should I hold them far? When you, but sometimes if you let those emotions keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, then you start to react to things rather than respond to things, right? So when, by asking a question like, how true is this story that I'm making up, you're forcing your brain to move to the front, which is called the executive brain. And the executive brain is the one that's able to make more logical decisions. So when you say, how true is that, you're forcing it up here, and you're able to see how true is it. Oh, well, really, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's only a 2. Well, if it's only a 2, how much energy do you want to keep at this, right? All right, so emotional intelligence is so much more than empathy.
About emotional intelligence, more so in leading inside yourself with your own emotion so you can understand other people. So that's the basis of my practice that I deal with my clients. It's pretty much helping you understand your own emotions and what you have to do with it. And one of the things that we go into is because we all react first when we hear. When you're talking about all the different quadrants in terms of when you're in relationship with other people, we have a tendency to just react, you know, instead of thinking. So one of the things I use with my younger children that I do, because I mentor girls between the ages of 7 and 13, we use the red light, yellow light, green light. So even as you're driving, you know exactly what those lights mean, right? So you do know that red means stop. So again, being inside of your job, your entrepreneurship, or whatever it is that you're doing, when you run up against obstacles, the first thing we do, we go to fix, we go to react to situations, and most of the time we go to the negative. So the red light is basically for, listen, just stop for a minute. Just stop. Don't react. Just there. The yellow light means just wait, right? So as you're driving and you're proceeding and you get a yellow light, some of us want to hurry up before the light turns red. You know, we're going. Yellow light, I'm going to put my foot on the gas and I'm going to go. No, that means just lay and wait till you get your thoughts together. Because I want to ask you, do any of you ever think about what you're thinking? No. Yellow, lay and wait. Start to think about what you're thinking before you proceed. Before you go. You know, before you literally get to that green light and put your foot on the gas and react. Instead of just reacting and act on your own emotion, on your own situation. Where are you? What are you feeling? And just like Sandy said, most of us react in fear, scared, I didn't do it, you know, especially in being in a job. I mean, my background is pulmonary medicine. I was there for 28 years before I fired my boss. Assistant director in a pulmonary care facility. So I had to deal with a lot of personalities, which throws you into that your reaction. So for me, I learned how to work all 4 quadrants. You know, as a personal trainer right now, so I'm in the health and wellness field. And dealing with all of my clients, I found out, especially building up body equity, that I wasn't able to break into their bodies until I broke into their minds, because it was all about their emotions and what they were feeling and what you're going through and what you're thinking. So I was like, you know, I need to go learn a little bit more about your emotions and what you're doing and how to get around them and what's the real problem as it relates to what you're feeling. So when you understand yourself and able to lead inside of yourself, even in your careers in these things, you learn how to deal with other people, you know, with bosses that tell you what to do versus a leader that get there and do it with you. Because that at first I was a boss. Just do it. I don't want to hear it. Just get it done. I don't want to know how you do it. Just get it done. But when I learned how to be a leader and understand my own emotions and what was coming from my backstory, I learned how to get in there with you and show you how to do it. But that's you pretty much mastering yourself. It took me a minute to be able to get there, and I started just with my children. You know, I have a 42-year-old daughter that emotions was just about all over the place. Yes, 42. I had her when I was 2.
I was checking my marks.
But I am the new 60 because I learned how to master my emotions. I don't get stressed. I don't have a stressful day in my life. I don't let anything stress me out, because one of the things that you can go to instead of going to the negative in any situation that you deal with, here's a question that you can ask yourself. What's good about it? And I'll let you sit in that, because that's just a weight when you're dealing with your boss or anybody, your employees, your team, or whatever, especially when people go under attack. We immediately get in fight mode. You know, I want to punch you in the throat. But if you just ask yourself the question, what's good about it? So it actually takes the stressors off your, you know, so I jump into my wellology hat. It takes the stressors off your heart. It takes the stressors off your lungs. It takes the stresses off your kidneys, because all of your organs react to what you are thinking. So when you go into those stressful modes, and what happens to your hormones, and cortisols, and we wonder why we get to adipose fat, or we got, you know, belly swelling up, or I can't think, I can't sleep. It has to do with what you're feeling that actually affects you. So understand that part of it when you go into that thinking mode, when you go into that reactive mode, that's what's happening to you. Like, I just can't get it right. Why? Ask yourself, what am I thinking? Am I on the negative? Or am I on the positive? So I learned how in my life was just chaos. You know, I come from a place of domestic violence, child abuse. So it's like it was just chaotic, it was stressful. So one of the things I needed to learn how to do was sit down in my own peace for my children. So even in operating in life, you don't let anybody pull you into their chaos. You pull them into your peace. But where your peace is in that space of what's good about it. If I tell you something that you absolutely don't like, can you say to yourself before you react, what's good about this situation? It's hard, it's difficult. And that's when you can get yourself in the harmonizing zone. Is it going to work for each and every one? No, absolutely not. But it's definitely a place to start before you react. Because a lot of the times, once something comes out of your mouth, you can't take it back. You can't take it back. So the thing that you do is you lay in wait. So you use that, you know, red light, yellow light, green light, before you react to any situation. You know, so again, to get to this age, from a time that I was 33 till about 45, I was a reactor, and a negative reactor, simply because of my past. So a lot of times we have all of these events in our life that we didn't address, that we bring forward, that cause us to be reactors in a negative way, you know, because we feel like we have to protect. So, but when you get to a place where you start to lead in your own body, I'm telling you, it's a wonderful space to be in. I don't even call it balance, I call it harmony. Because you pretty much get liquid in what you feel. So when you think about liquid, you just flow. And water takes the least path of resistance. So if you can get yourself, and it takes work, I don't call it homework, I call it own work. OWNWORK. own work. For us, it's a lot of work that we have to do inside ourselves. So we're so busy doing work for other people, but we forget to do our own work. And that's that self-love piece that gets you to that space to start to master your emotions. So when you can get even kiltered on a zone, no matter where you are, it's you getting into that place of peace. Most of the times we're at a job, we have a tsunami going on in our emotions. And you're trying to figure out, how the hell do I plug this? How do I stop this? How do I become the eye of, a calming eye in the storm? And you do that by asking yourself, what's good about it? That's all you do, what's good about it. That's what has propelled me from the age of 45 to 63, if you're wondering how old I am. So that's a place to be able to get to that space and just sit in it. So in this space in my life, I tell folks I'm going to live to be 150, simply because that's what I decided. So when you make a decision to do something and you lay in it, you believe it, and that's another part of your emotional space. You gotta believe what you're feeling. And also you gotta feel what you're feeling. Because in order to get to the other side of it, you have to feel to heal. So you have to let your emotions come through. When you don't, and you dummy them down, that's when the tsunami starts to build. So when you go to work and your boss get on your nerve, you just want to punch him in the throat. That's simply because you haven't dealt with what you're feeling. And you just immediately go to react. So even when I fired my boss, I cussed him out really, really bad. Just for something that he did. Again, it was a reaction. But understand, you have the power to choose your reaction, but not to certain what's going to happen on the end of it. So you choose, but what happens is no longer in your hands. Your choice is gone. So you get to choose wisely on your emotions. So again, just ask yourself in any situation about you when you're starting to lead in yourself, in your businesses, in your employees, in your team, or dealing with a team when you think people are attacking you. Because again, it's just what we think. It may not be happening. Because inside of our brain, we see a whole nother story than what's actually in front of us. So this is a space where you get to go inside yourself and say what's good about it. Thank you very much.
So what questions do you have for us?
Any questions?
Yes.
Hi, Sandi, thanks for the presentation. I was wondering, sometimes I feel like you can have a combination and a very strong one.
Yes.
Personally, I feel I'm 50% drive, 50% here.
Yes.
Because I do, like you said when we started, it was like, are you fast, are you moderate? I am fast when it sometimes is, and sometimes I walk fast, as an example.
Yes.
So I feel sometimes you can have a combination, is that correct?
Absolutely, yes. I like, because there's a big assessment on this, right? So like I am 99% both D and I. I don't have any of this over here. So most of the time I'm I, and life is good and I'm having a great time until I get stressed. And I immediately move over to D. I'm like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. You go do this, you go do this, this is how we're gonna do it. Right, so yeah, and it's easier for your, the two that you go in to be side by side.
Right.
It's, some people are a little psychotic and they go back and forth, right? That's what you do. But they're good combinations, yeah. So you think about, yeah, you have all four in you. You really do. So it's so one of the things that we started to talk about before is you have the same message for all four. You just may say it in a different way, right? Think about how many of you have more than one child? Yeah. Do you find that your children are exactly the same? No. So you may say the same thing, just a little differently. Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Can I just take the mic from you, please? This is a question which I'm directing towards you, and I would like an answer. It's just a query because, you know, it happens in our everyday life. We are surrounded with people all around us. Now, some can be very positive, some can be negative. Now, there are very difficult issues which come sometimes in one's life when you're dealing with your children who are undergoing hormonal changes when they're teenagers, and they can be very aggressive. You can have friends who can just attack you at the drop of a hat. So how does one deal with these strong challenges of a child, for instance? You know, for example, I have a son. He is a very, very lovely boy. He's 20 years old, but he is undergoing a lot of changes in his body. And the aggression comes only at the first punching bag that's a mother. So how do you, now, if it's your child, how do you deal with him? That's point number one. And with a very close friend who can take you for granted and can attack you without any provocation, and you don't know what to do with her. So I would like some kind of a solution. Thank you.
Well, you know, with the children, it's difficult because we're coming from such a loving place. But for me, I punch back. I punch back. And when I say that, and I do it in such a loving way, because even with your child that goes on attack on you because they think they can. So after trying to get to the root of the problem, I gently let my child know that I am the parent. See, because a lot of the times we are being friends, you know, with our children. I'm not your friend. I'm your mother. Right here, I got the power. It's just that simple. So we're going to sit down, and we're going to have a conversation. And we're going to talk about it, and you are going to listen to me. You don't have options here. You know, yes, I'm going to hear what you have to say, but sometimes you have to take that hand and set them down to let them know. So again, with my children growing up, age 19, my son, the same thing. They just go through this hormonal imbalance that they go through. Again, I told them, listen, I am the parent here. I knock you out. Simple as that. And I let him know that. Did I ever hit him? No, but I threatened him. He thought I was serious enough where he set himself down, where he listened to me. You have to be able to get them to listen to them so they can hear your wisdom. Because we're going to lead them where they need to go, but you have to figure out, depending on, you know, what your child is, so they can listen to you. So as they're growing up from 8 to 18 to 28 to 42, I still have this same conversation with my daughter. I just simply tell her, listen, take me out of your mom's sphere and put me in your wisdom sphere. I know more than you. So you have to be willing to listen to me. And I would be derelict in my duties if I didn't try to tell you. So it's a matter of getting them to sit down to listen to you, and what does that look like? Because if you let them attack you, they're going to always attack you. So you have to stop them, you know, in what that is. So I'm not going to let my child attack me, you know, so in a sense of sometimes you just, you know, you just got to get very stern, but you got to get lovingly stern. You know, my this saying that any friendship, relationship, partnership, business ships, all of those ships. But ships are designed to take you somewhere, to enhance your life. If these ships aren't taking you anywhere, abandon ship.
Yes. True.
So, abandon ship. Because, and you have to be okay with that. Because as we move and grow through life, some folks ain't gonna wanna go. You can't keep being the tugboat. You just can't. You have to release it. But even as you grow and you move and you release, your whole life changes. And you have to work your way to come around with that. So the same thing with your friends. Don't let anybody attack you. You have to stand your ground, own your belief in what it is, and let them know it's a level of disrespect Oh, no, chick, you will not disrespect me. Let me make you understand how you're making me feel. See, it's okay to protect yourself. You don't have to be mean about it, but you do have to be stern about it. See, because you're talking about protecting yourself.
That's the assertiveness part of emotional intelligence. Right? It's having that confidence, having that belief in yourself that you will not be put down. You don't have any control over what comes to you. Your only control is how you come back. Right. Good. Yes?
I have one question. Can I have the mic?
Yes.
We are lacking only one mic.
So interesting overall, and I wonder what comes first, the thought or the feeling from your consideration, because as a life coach I have this couple of times this question that how can I change the state, how I'm feeling? This is like you change because the way you think, because the way you think, that's what I believe, but I want to really hear you out. The way I think, the way I create my emotions, I create my hormones accordingly and so forth. What is your take on it, both of you?
You want to go first?
Doesn't matter. Oh, I operate on how I feel. I operate on how I feel. I think the feeling come up no matter what, and even from a life coaching, I have a program called Red Couch Chronicles, and I literally do have a red couch that you come and sit on, and it's basically from a place of feeling, because I think that's the first thing. Even if I'm talking to you, it's not your thought process that you hear, it's what you feel. Generally, is that heart connection dependent on the feeling. So when you're dealing with your clients, and it's like a lot of questions that we ask is what you think. I ask, what are you feeling? Because generally you react to what you are feeling. Even when we talked about the feelings, the sadness, the anger, the resentment, or whatever it is, that the doubt, the fear, all the things that you're afraid of, you're feeling this. And a lot of times we don't tell you what we're feeling, because we are afraid. So basically, if you can tap into the feeling versus the thought, because a lot of times our mind changes so fast. What is it, 16 seconds? The change in thought process. But your feeling remain the same. And a lot of times you react on a feeling. I come in a room anywhere I go so I can come and feel the room. So even as we're in here, I feel your energy, and my thought process comes to what I'm feeling as I go or not. Even in coming in here, what I was going to say, I don't know. I came in here to feel the room and to feel you, and that's how I deliver.
Yeah, I think what comes out, like we talked about the amygdala. The first thing that happens is that you get this emotion based on what's happening, and your thought is the interpretation of the emotion. Right? Yes. So then the action comes out of that. That's the way I see it. That's it. Yep. All right. Other questions?
It's more that we need more time to think.
I basically really want to leave you with just ask what's good. Even as you're working in your clients, working inside yourself, it's a good place to change the way that you feel, no matter what. Because if you ask what's good, when you go to the worst case scenario, all my life I've gone to, from 45 to now, you go to the worst case scenario and you work your way back. Because when you go to the worst and the worst don't look so bad, you can work your way back. Because if your worst is here, I was going through a business debacle. My worst case scenario was to go live with my son in the 15,000 square foot house down in Hollywood, Florida, That was my worst case scenario. I didn't want to go live with my kid. So it was a matter of now I get to work my way back. So if your worst don't look so bad, you know, I get to go down there and play Reba with my grandbabies. But that was my worst. I was like, oh Lord, I'm gonna become Nana. You know, so if that's your worst, when you look at your worst and you start working your way back to where your situation is, it doesn't look so bleak. You can work your way up. So now my worst case scenario, I told my son to build my wing. When I get 100, then I'm coming.
That's a nice one.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, and so based on the two things that she said, yes.
Does unconditional love really exist in real life, or is it always a give and take of energies, emotions, etc.?
Well, it is certainly something to aspire to. I have a belief, the coaching program that I went through, we talk about 7 levels of energy, and the highest level of energy is the unconditional one. It's where you tap into the wisdom of the world, and many of the other levels, there is love, but there's conditions to it. So I believe that there are times that we can tap into that. Like you think about the first time you walked into the crib and you looked down at your baby's face. My assumption is there was probably unconditional love in that, right? So I think
until he gets older and fishy.
Yes. I think there's probably the vast majority of us have a hard time living in it, but we can tap into it.
Same here. It's a place to inspire to be. And I'm at that place most of the time because I've learned the ability to walk away. And that's what we've done because we want to consistently engage. But anything that comes into my life that upsets my aura, I'm okay with walking away from it. You know, I don't confront. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to state my point, and then I'm going to walk away. See, and that's what it is, because even when you are grounded in your belief, what you believe, because we all have opinions. Neither are right or wrong, but your opinion is yours. I'm going to state it. I'm not going to enforce my will, but I will state my opinion. And I won't even listen to yours. And that's about as far as it goes. That I really will listen to you, because at the end of the day, I don't call myself a coach, I call myself a willologist. So my job is to listen. So I'm going to listen to you, but it doesn't affect me unless I choose it to. Because at that point, you get to choose how you're going to love. And all the 7 levels, we generally go there every single day as to what it is and who you're going to keep at arm's length with you, correct? It's like, are you going to let them here or are you going to be here? So you understand when you handle people with a long-handled spoon, some folks don't have the right to be close. And you have to know who they are and don't let them in. Because if you let them in, they will hurt you. So those are your filters in understanding your intuitiveness. As you get a little bit more in balance and harmony with yourself, you know who's supposed to be on this end of the spoon and who's supposed to be on that end of the spoon, and then act accordingly.
Well, I think we're past time. So come talk to us afterwards. Remember, the big thing about emotional intelligence is that it is about choice. Right? Emotional intelligence is about choice. Thank you so very much. Can we get some pictures?
Oh, thank you so much. Great to be here. So inspiring. Thank you.
Yes, how are you? Hi, my darling. So please, I will read when we all movie and all that.
We never met before. Isn't that great? Thank you. Good. I love it.
But I'll think they're bigger. I'll take a picture of my phone.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then we'll be around and we yeah. We like
We got like 3 million cameras right here. Yes, I missed.
मुझे बता दो
Wait.